Hello guys, how are we doing? This is Alex Spence, self-realised renunciate monk in a former life and now in this one as well. I do like people, trust me. I am a people person. I just find filming and being out here just is the best place to be, to connect with you. So yeah, I'm apologise if I'm a little bit off centre. I'm literally dicing with death. To your right is literally a plummet to my death. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not quite ready to see what's in the next life. But yeah, so apologies for being a little bit off centre. But here we go. Here we are doing this. Take some deep breaths with me. Take it all in, ground oneself. That's what I said. If you don't get anything from these videos, at least just try and bring yourself back to centre, out of the madness of this potential awakening procedure that we're going through. So today I wanted to touch on, I sort of spoke about this briefly the other day, about technology and how it can impact us. I even touched on it in the newsletter as well, the email that I sent out. I'm not sure who read that, but I think it's very important to address where we are with that, because it all comes down to awareness. It all comes down to being aware of what we're consciously letting into our brains and our consciousness, and how it marinates with us, and how in turn it can affect our physiology. Because I think, like I always say, it's all about damage limitation. It's all about making a very turbulent ride as steady as possible, because we all know not everyone is experiencing this, but we're going through it. So we've got to try and do all we can to make it as steady as possible, as hard as that can be sometimes. And that's why bringing in the awareness is really important. Just being aware every minute of every second of every day, what you are thinking, feeling, what is your condition at this time? What are you watching? What technology are you going in? Are you witnessing? What are you scrolling through? What do you find yourself subconsciously? Do you find yourself subconsciously losing time looking at the sort of technology? And it's that time that's really specific about what could be going in, because we all know we scroll through Facebook. And like I said in my video the other day, that's why I don't want my videos to be irrelevant. I don't want you to be scrolling. I don't want you to be looking at this page and then it means nothing, and then you go on to something else and it potentially leads on to something else that doesn't matter, which could lose a lot of time. It could put you into sort of like a subconscious state, and whilst absorbing stuff into your mind. And that's the scary thing. And that's where the whole world in which we live, it thrives on, like say the marketing world, it all thrives on you being in a subconscious state. So you can you end up feeding into it. But I thought I'd talk about how technology can affect it's all about your mind and the connection with your nervous system, and how in turn your nervous system essentially creates your equilibrium. Homeostasis is the state of complete and utter balance. Everything's in a line. Homeostasis means just all your glands, which are basically your chakras. Everything's being secreted at the same time. Everything's in line. Everything's sort of like you just picture how the galaxies and universes work, and how everything rotates. Just so you know how the world rotates around the sun. It's all beautifully in time. The only time the things happen in the universe or outside of Earth is when there's asteroids which come cataclysmic down on the Earth, and that's almost like an analogy, a metaphor for what happens in our awakening life, going through this journey. That's what meteors in our lives mean. You know, when we go through these massive changes, that's a meteor hitting our life. And how we look after our nervous system is just really important. We've got to tend to it. That's why I always start with within and work our way out, our thoughts have got to feed our nervous system. They've got to feed it positive. They've got to feed it a positive flow. Because if you come into a negative mindset, it takes you out of balance, and everything can be disrupted. Just your general mood and demeanour can all be changed from just what you feed your nervous system, and that includes how you think and what you watch and what your senses absorb on a daily basis. What do you feed your mind? What are you aware of that you could potentially be picking up on like a subconscious level? What TV programs do you watch, and what music do you listen to? How is this all adding to sort of like the ambience of your state and the texture and fabric of your life? Because I think for us it means we've got to be always even more aware of how it affects us. Because let's say in relevance to when we're feeling fatigued, and then which could lead into feelings of isolation. Why do I feel like this? It can lead to what they call the dark night of the soul. And it's how long that goes on for. And in those times, how do you speak to yourself? How does the internal story continue? Does it make things worse? Are there conversations going on in mind through different characters which antagonise it? In them moments, do you still plugged into stuff? What are you listening to? What are you watching which could intensify things? It's really important questions to ask. Because our relationship with ourselves dictates the relationship with our nervous system. And there's things called kinesiology, which I'll do another video on. Kinesiology is basically how we react to negative and positive stimulus. There's tests that are done. Kinesiology is like a muscle response. That if human body is exposed to a negative stimulus, the whole body goes weak. The chakra systems go out of line. Your muscles just instantly go weak. They don't go strong. And that 1/10,000th of a second, when it goes weak, everything goes out. So if you think in the respect of time, how short that is, how the muscle go weak, but it's how long that can go on for. If you're in a continuous negative state, your muscles, everything is out of a line, your acupuncture systems are out of whack, and in turn this all affects how you feel, with the feelings of emotional fatigue. And this is the root of this, is how it always comes down to the relationship we have with ourselves. And if that's one of badgering ourselves and not feeling good enough, everything's going to be out of a line, which creates even more imbalance. And I'm never negating that the world isn't going through changes, that we are going through this evolutionary shift, but everything starts from here. And our nervous systems are connected with everyone, and I find the nervous system the most beautiful thing that we have at our disposal. And the power behind that is, the scientists haven't got a clue. But I think me and you know how powerful it is when it comes to this opening. For seeing and feeling, and your senses are alive. And when it comes to sort of technology, this is what I started on the technology front. But it's being really aware of how it impacts us. How potentially is what I'm watching or listening to, or what am I feeding my senses, the food that I'm feeding my senses, how is it going to impact my nervous system? How is it going to shock me out of a line? Is there something brief that I see on Facebook or on the telly, or a piece of music that just, the lyrics, they intertwine with my soul and create that negative response, which in turn creates negative thought patterns, which in turn create negative emotions. And this is almost like lots of videos in one, but I'm in that frame of mind where I can get all this out. I'm expressing it. And that's why I always, and it's the power of what we do have within, and how it can be affected just by our thoughts and what we feed ourselves. And feeding ourselves means food, water, liquid, what we watch, what we hear, what we touch, how does it react to us, how is everything reacting to us, the world in which is in front of us. But that's why it's always about that awareness, and it's being in that present moment of how you feel and assessing what can be impacting that. If you're going through a traumatic time where you can't work out what's going on, and I think I'm just going to leave it there, but I hope this has provoked some more thoughts and more things to think about. But just all this being said, don't lead this to some sort of conflict about what you should be doing, what you're doing is wrong or right. Nothing's about wrong or right. Just being completely present and in the moment of every minute of every second of every day. Knowing how you feel, knowing yourself, and how being in tune with you of what can react and make your internal world and can create that reaction within. But I'm going to leave this now. I think this is, like I said, I've just piled a load of videos just into one go. But I'm going to say I love you so much. I'm wishing you well, peace and love and just everything thrown at you. I hope you get something from my videos, I really do. And make sure whatever you do online, in technology, in tech mode, make sure that it's feeding you in the right way. Okay, God bless guys, peace out. Alex Spence, self-realised renunciant monk, coming right at you from the middle of nowhere. Peace guys.